It's your girl Des coming to you today to go ahead and bring y'all the Real Housewives of Potomac season 4, right? I'm gonna go ahead and do part 1, part 2, part 3 all together in this motherfucking video because the goddamn reunion was dry and stale as all hell. Alright, now first off, I'm sure we all agree, okay? This shit could have been 2 motherfucking parts max, okay? Really, they could have put all this shit together in 1, but you know what I'm saying? You want to do 2 is fine. Now, let me just run through the fashions real quick. Okay, Giselle's jumpsuit looks cheap as all hell, and I'm like, she is just too pretty to just be looking that goddamn tacky, and that's just that on that. Monique is pretty as always. She's a gorgeous motherfucker. That's one thing. Like, I think Monique is beautiful. I just think she's ugly on the inside and she's a fake ass bitch. But that's just my opinion. I felt like Karen and Candace did look good. I feel like Candace's outfit was extra, you know, with the cockadoodle right there. Or what's it called? With the peacock, you know what I'm saying, going on right there. But, I mean, you know, it was extra like Candace. So I feel like it maxed her. I felt like Ashley and her caped ass dress, like, she literally had a cape on. I felt like that was weird as well. Just like her and her weird ass relationship in her life and that storyline. And then Robin looks pretty, right? But her outfit is just weird. I don't know why, it just looked weird, but she looked pretty nonetheless. And they did Katie the fuck wrong. Like, that bitch said they did not ask her to motherfucking go to the reunion, and they trifling for that shit. All they basically talked about was Giselle being a mean girl, Candace versus Ashley and Monique, then Michael dick sucking comment paired with him grabbing and groping men's asses without, you know, permission. But let's just go ahead and get started with part 1. So part 1 started off with Giselle and her messy ass, okay? And they didn't even talk about, like, get updates about her daughters, like her actual fucking storyline that she had. The only storyline that she had was with her twin, you know, feeling like she was left out. They didn't even much fucking talk about that. I'm like, okay, well, that was half-assed. Okay. They started with her going to therapy, and basically Monique and Karen was just like, they ain't changed nothing. She needs to go back to therapy, yada, yada, yada. They asked about Sherman, and we never got a confirmation on what the fuck is going on. Then she said she's tired of talking about Ashley's sugar gramps. Like, child, please. Karen swiftly checked her ass and was like, bitch, you wasn't tired all season long while you was in the confessionals talking your shit. And we find out, well, she actually confirmed that she is dating Phaedra's Mr. Chocolate, aka Giselle's ex-husband, the pastor. Amen. Next, then they talk about Karen and her storyline, you know, her parents grieving and her perfume. Honestly, that's all her storyline was, and she really didn't give us much with the perfume, but you know what, y'all, whatever. Then Ashley and Giselle try to backpedal and pussy pop like Funky Dineva would say, and say that they didn't have a problem when they wasn't talking shit about the perfume. Like, sis. Okay. Then they talked about her getting on IG while she was grieving, and here come Robin. She was just really inserting herself into shit just like Karen was, to be fair. Robin gonna say that they had to question if that was really grieving, or who grieves like that, or gets on IG or some type of bullshit. And Karen had to clap back. It's like, no, you don't have to question it, just like I don't question you about why you still love wine. Next, Mommy Dearest is back after the commercial breaks, and she is camera ready. All right. And what pissed me off was that Monique was trying to be funny and try to be shady, talking about have we ever had a parent up here? Like, why is she up here? I'm just confused on why she's up on the stage. Bitch, you ain't watched Real Housewives of motherfucking Atlanta? Cause motherfucking Mama Joyce stay at a motherfucking reunion, babe. So what you mean you don't know? You ain't, this is something weird and all that type of shit. Like, bitch, I don't know if anybody else caught that as shade, but I the fuck did. And child, motherfucking Mommy Dearest had the audacity to bring her goddamn purse that she didn't hit upside Candace's head, talking about she gonna prove how she didn't hit her. Girl, get the fuck out of here. She tried to bullshit and show them how she didn't actually hit Candace. It was a bunch of shit. Like, y'all already know this. But Long story short, they tell us that her and Candace are not going to therapy anymore. I mean, of course not. That was just something that Candace needed for her storyline. And we all know that motherfucking mommy dearest don't feel like she has a problem, so why would she need to go to therapy? And y'all peeped out her mama was being shady towards her when she was saying how she pays all of the bills, and she's like, oh, if you say so. Like, then child Giselle even tells us that she done ran into Mommy Dearest out on the street somewhere. She was telling Candace and them business again, and Mommy Dearest gonna fucking deny it. And honestly, I believe Giselle, cause she was saying how her mama would have helped them with the $2 million house too, and all that type of shit. Like, I believe Giselle. I really feel like that's some things that I really don't think that Giselle will lie about. Of course, they bring up the butter knife fiasco. And Candace said that's what happens when you trespass in somebody's motherfucking house. And everybody was laughing at her and was like, oh, it definitely wasn't trespassing. And Monique tried to correct her and say the knife happened, you know, before Ashley came back in or whatever. Check this out. I agree, because after watching it, yes, the butter knife did come before Ashley trespassing to her house, but I definitely do agree with the trespassing word. Bitch, I asked you to leave my humbly abode, and your ass comes back in my house. I don't give a fuck if you have the producers and cameramans pointing goddamn arrows back into my shit. You don't go in there, because then it is trespassing. Period. Ashley and Candace keep going back and forth. Y'all already knew this shit was gonna happen. That's all the fuck we gonna get with that. Next, Ashley tells us that she gave her crackhead ass mama her goddamn confessional wig for her baby shower. Like, you saw how that shit looked on you and how it was a shit ass mess. Why you gonna give it to your crackhead ass mama? She talked about Michael all of a sudden wanting a baby. Maybe he wanted the baby so you can stay by his side after, you know, his whole groping men, all that shit blew up in his face. Maybe that was a deal that y'all had made together. That sounds plausible. So Giselle points out that Sugar Gramps and Ashley's dad looks like spitting image of each other. Then they talking about the miscarriage, and I'm still on Candace's side, even though she did a little too much, or they edited to make it like she was doing a little bit too much and always bringing it up. And low-key, there was times where people would bring it up to her and she would just say how she felt about the situation. I don't know how I missed that. Baby, Candace brought the whole deed to the house that basically said that her and her mama on the deed. Everybody trying to clown her like, oh, we knew that. No, bitch. No, bitch. No, bitch. Y'all was saying that I was staying in my mama's house. And everybody was like, well, Ashley did say that was her mama's house. She was trying to demean Candace altogether. Like, don't do that dumb shit. Okay? They wasn't saying, oh, that's your mama's house and yours too, Candace. No. Talked about the rainbow party. So while they talking about Sugar Gramps, here he go, all sweaty and shit, walking up to the goddamn balcony, looking over them as they talking about him. How is that okay? I mean, I wouldn't have been scared to say shit in front of the geriatric pervert, but at the end of the day, he shouldn't have even been there. Part 2. Okay, Andy let him do his little thug thizzle for the time being and even apologized to Sugar Gramps and the geriatric pervert about them talking about him without him being present, but they'll bring them on so he can discuss his piece. This shit was dragged the fuck out. So next, Monique now talk about how she blocked Candace via Twitter and she wants an apology for the Amistad comment. You was talking about Katie. Like, she did. Whether it was slight shade, playful shade, shade was still thrown. So, I mean, the only apology I honestly, if I was Candace, I would give her would have been just like she did, I believe, was going back and telling Giselle. Next, they're wondering why Candace feels some type of way about Monique and Ashley being friends. The problem that Candace had, mostly her feelings was hurt because, you know, of course she felt like they both didn't like the bitch. But it's like, sis, every time we around the collective, you always quick to check me in front of these bitches. And then the bitch that you just got cool with, you don't even check her. Threaten to drag her? Bitch, like, fuck you and this fake ass friendship. Now, don't get me wrong, I do agree with Monique. You have to check your friends. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what real friends do. But off to the side. You don't criticize me in front of a bitch I don't fuck with. Because I don't give a fuck if you all give me some goddamn constructive criticism. I'll cuss your ass out real quick. You can save all this shit. You can call me when we leave the motherfucking festivities, okay? And I also agree with Candace when she said she feels like Monique used her to get close to Ashley. I surely do. Put her ass underneath the bus constantly. Or the fact that she not only was trying to prove herself to Ashley, or just the simple fact that she wasn't even being completely honest with Ashley with the shit that she did. But you wasn't holding on to when Ashley was trying to tell everybody and get everybody against your ass and said that you was a motherfucking alcoholic and low key it was your fault that you lost your child. Oh, okay. Next, Robin then flipped the house for $30,000 instead of the $60,000. But you know what I'm saying? Something is better than nothing. All right. Now, Andy asked her with his messy ass if her and Juan are in a monogamous relationship. And bad, why did she pause and kind of, well, I think so. Well, I am. And child, Giselle is me. Just look down and look away. Just look down and look away. This bitch is so damn stupid. Then Andy asked her if she foresees them getting married and asked for a whole give me a time. And she tells him next year. And he's like, oh, okay. So they talk about, Robin in the open house. Giselle doesn't necessarily apologize to Monique because Monique did kind of ask for one. But what Giselle did do was basically say instead of coming in that hole on an 8, she could have went in with like a -2. That was her way of apologizing and taking it wrong with it, bitch, because that's the closest it's gonna get. I'm letting you know now. Also, everybody agrees that Giselle needs some dick in her life. Next, it goes through Karen and Giselle fiasco, them always going at it with each other, and Giselle was in denial about how messy she is, and she's thinking in her head that it's even or it's equal between her and Karen, and it's like, no, bitch. Yeah, Karen will come for your neck, but that's after you try to comfort her. Next, I already talked about this with Monique fake ass, but her little spot was that how she's been chill this fucking season, other than the fact that, she threatened to drag her so-called sister while being pregnant. She was being messy as fuck this season, and it literally irks me that nobody checked her ass. Half of the time she wasn't even motherfucking allowing Candace to talk. She was yelling, trying to scream over her. Andy did a piss poor ass job with this fucking reunion. It was just a shit ass, plum ass motherfucking mess. Next, they get into Sugar Grant's bullshit towards the end of the motherfucking episode. You know how they do. Basically, Robin is kind of forced to confirm that Sugar Grants was indeed talking about her nigga's dick he wanted to slurp. And actually trying to make it like people are lying on him or making shit up. Like, what would be the point? Especially for motherfucking Robin. That's her man's dick. She's saying, your man wants to slurp. Why would I make that shit up? Why would I, literally sit here and think that shit up? It don't make no goddamn sense to me. And then if it was really slander, as they try to say it is, how come there's no lawsuit? Oh, so that's it with motherfucking part 2. Child, this shit has been dry as all hell. Alright, part 3. Here it is, here motherfucking go. So we finally get to the shits. But first, they gotta fluff up this motherfucking episode. But I found it amusing how Michael shaded the fuck out of all the ladies and said how they boring in bed. Because the question was who they feel like is the freakiest out of all of them. And they say Ashley. And the only reason why they really said Ashley, the bitch always talks about sex because she's having sex with her sugar grams, who's a geriatric pervert. Alright? And she was trying to have a baby. But honestly, in my opinion, I feel like it'll be Monique off rip. But you know what? They want to say Ashley, fine. But nonetheless, Michael was saying, well, y'all hoes must be born because what she do is considered normal to me. That's like average. I was just kind of shocked that nobody said nothing to his weird ass. No, sir. Child, why did Candace call her and Chris's sex life decent? So you tell us the season before that your husband has a black dick. Then now you're telling us that the dick is decent. 2 things about your husband's dick and y'all sex life that you should have kept to what? Yourself. Because not everybody's laughing at your ass. Decent. You never say no shit like that. Next, Andy's messy ass then gonna ask Juan, when does he see him and Robin getting married? Because Robin done said that they gonna get married next year. So what are your thoughts? And I was shocked, but pleasantly surprised, because I'm glad he didn't really make her look like a fool that he's been making her look like for these past few seasons. But he was basically on some agreeing shit like, yeah, he can see that happening, how it could be a possibility. Like, child, please. Next, Mr. Ray wants to be in Florida, but Karen ain't having that shit. They all know Real Housewives down there in Florida, so guess where they gonna stay? Oh, okay. Next, finally, what the fuck we came here for. So, first off, do you know this geriatric ass pervert starts off by trying to shame the women for talking about him and saying how they should feel some type of way? And how they didn't reach out to him? Fuck you. And I just find it funny that nobody was like, nigga, you and your bitch have been dragging and talking about people, finances, and all other types of shit. That's literally what all y'all did for the season y'all was on, even on motherfucking reunions as well. And you gonna sit up here and try to cry me a river because you getting a taste of your own motherfucking medicine? Who cares? Not I. This white man is crazy. Talking about some grabbing ass for men is normal. They do it in sports and all that type of shit. And even Monique Chris had to start laughing, which is like, nah, B, like, that happens on the field. Like, we don't just do that all willy-nilly. That second clip that had came out, and at first we thought that was a cameraman and Sugar Grams talking, but found out about it, it was actually Hank, Monique's cousin, on there. And Sugar Grams was just like, you know, yeah, we talk about butt grabbing all the time. And then Monique was just like, well, you know, I had asked Hank about that, and he said that him and Sugar Grams gonna be talking about grabbing ass like that. So I don't know where that came from. Question is, what happened during the clip that they, you know, released? Like, what was going on before and after that? Like, why were y'all even much having that conversation? Like, what's going on? Is Hank sexually fluid? I mean, like, what's really good? I mean, give us the real true tea. I mean, hell, you got us all curious. I'm sorry. We're all curious now. It is what it is. So Monique lying ass gonna say she didn't know that the incident took place outside. She thought it took place in the basement. And in the basement they don't have cameras, which I find weird. But she said that she actually does not have the footage no longer, because after 60 days it automatically gets purged. 2 months went by before you found out about that incident? Huh, sis? Okay. Like, who's believing this shit? Because I'm not. I don't give a damn if it is the truth. I don't believe it. Now, Candace Chris makes a good point. Because let me tell you, Candace Chris was on it. And I love how they was riding for each other. Chris was just like, I mean, who bumps into somebody and doesn't say, excuse me? And Sugar Grant tried to make up some shit like how he can't control what other people say. Like, no, bitch, we talking about what you said. You bumped into this motherfucker and then I said, excuse me. That is an issue for your behalf. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? Ashley motherfucking really trying to be up there justifying the shit. Like, look here, football head. You sit your dumb ass down and let your motherfucking Sugar Grant do the goddamn me talking. You getting that? You getting paid, huh? Sit your ass down. Like, ain't nobody ask you for nothing, Ashley. Damn, just making herself look even motherfucking stupid. Candace Chris brought up the fact when they was out at the club and him and Sugar Grants was talking, the cameraman walked on by. He said, even on the show and in the reunion, he said that I didn't see you grab his ass. But basically, when he walked by, he looked back and he gave you a death stare. Here goes Sugar Grants, how everybody lying on him. They don't know what they're talking about. Chris is like, nigga, what? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. HR called me. Like, what is you saying right now? Yes. And then he made a good point to even ask, what makes you more credible than us? Than all these people here? What makes you better? And I'm telling you what the fuck makes him better in his motherfucking mama, because he's a white man and he's a number of black motherfuckers on this shit. And you just a token white man that he going back and forth with. Like, no, sorry, Bob. And the fact that how and Chris really wasn't saying nothing or whatever. I get the whole I wasn't there, I didn't see nothing, blase, blase, blase. But that shit was side-eye worthy. And it's like, so what businesses do y'all have going on together, or y'all trying to motherfucking do? Or what deal do you have? Like, what's going on? What's the real tea? That didn't sit right with me either. Then this motherfucking geriatric pervert tries to go in. When I say go the fuck off about Robin, how drunk she was, how is she even credible, how could she remember anything, how she could barely walk, she was all over the place, trying to demean her character. Excuse me? And let me tell you this, Robin's a goddamn plum ass motherfucking fool. Listen, I wish I would stand next to motherfucking Juan after he allowed Sugar Gramps to dog me like that and didn't say a motherfucking word. He didn't say, hey bro, chill, that's my lady you talking about. Nothing. There is something, but listen, if y'all don't believe it, there is something going on between Juan and Michael. And I'm like, Juan, did you let him suck your dick? What is it? It's weird because it's like we don't care if they are gay, bisexual or not. But now, bitch, this is a storyline. Like, hold up. Sugar Grant's been trying to get into Juan's panties for a minute now. So did he finally get it? And Juan doesn't want everybody to know that he's sexually fluid. What is going on here? What is going on? Because it's just hard for me to believe that Juan really sat there and ate all that shit after this man really talked down on his motherfucking girl / ex-wife. You know what the fuck I'm talking about? He was just too motherfucking quiet, and I find that suspect as shit. They asked Juan if he has any comment, and Juan said he don't want to talk about that shit. Don't get me wrong, like, I understand, I get it, but you cool with this man. The least, the bare minimum you can say is you don't believe it. You just don't want to talk about it at all? Okay, sis. In the middle of that whole little going back and forth with each other talking, here go Juan was like, excuse me, we all getting excited, like, okay, this nigga finally got something to say. He got a comment on some shit. And this nigga talking about something, he had to go to the bathroom. Nigga, listen, Robin, keep your friends with benefit at the fuck home next time. We're over it. He adds nothing to the motherfucking reunion. Next, the issue isn't if Sugar Gramps is gay. The issue is this man invading people's space and disrespecting their bodies. That is what the issue is. And they just so happen to have been men. If he was doing this shit to women, it would have went a completely different way. And I find that fucked up. Sugar Grant's talking about how basically America, we're not fun. Australia is fun. Because in Australia, it's okay to violate people's spaces. And they just look at you with a smile. Like, nah, B, we got laws around this bitch to protect us from creep-ass motherfuckers like yourself. Also, Ray tells Sugar Gramps, when he was talking about the whole, did nobody call up on him? It's like, you want to know why they reached out to your ass, Sugar Gramps? Because I felt like you did it. Because I've seen you grab asses around this motherfucker before. That he saw him do it to Andy. And everybody was just laughing and everything, but y'all didn't get the point. And, I had one of my coworkers was saying, how he was obviously being playful with Andy, Sugar Gramps. But my whole thing is, in his mind, he could be or trying to portray it as he's being playful when he's still invading your privacy. I don't care if you're being playful or not. If I don't want you touching my ass, don't motherfucking touch me. And I don't give a fuck if you are playing. That's not playing to me, and you are sexually assaulting somebody by putting your hands on them when they don't want you to. Period. So, but I also find it funny that motherfucking Andy was trying to act like he didn't remember that it happened, and if he did, he liked it, all that type of shit, but he then admits on Watch What Happens Live that it in fact did happen. This is my thing. If Sugar Gramps feels like he can do that to the head producer, why wouldn't he do it to everybody else? Next, they were trying to explain how Michael should at least apologize to Ashley for putting her through the shits. And Sugar Gramps felt like he shouldn't apologize for shit because he didn't do nothing wrong. Yada, yada, yada. So Karen was just like, okay, well, bare minimum, can you at least thank Ashley for standing by your side? And here goes Sugar Gramps talking about some Karen's not about to manipulate him into apologizing for something he didn't do. I'm like, nigga, why would they even come to mind? So you're guilty. Everybody except for Candace and Chris was all bogus as fuck for the most part, except for Karen. Karen did let them have it a little bit, but all bogus as fuck because they really let them not have or point out the fact that how hypocritical they are and woe is me when they have done worse shit. Questions that were not answered. Why did nobody ask, especially Andy, why did nobody ask, okay, so what were you referring to when you told the producer that you may have said some things that you might regret? What were you talking about, Michael? That is the $1 million question. Why wasn't that even asked? Next, Andy dismisses the men, and then Sugar Grams walks up on Giselle and try to tell her about herself. And even Robin and Giselle had agreed that motherfucker is an arrogant prick. Like, how dare you walk up on her like that? Then he goes up to Ashley and she has to remind him, like, babe, I might. Like, why, sis? What do you know this nigga is about to say? Talking about some, did you hear how she talked to me? Did you hear what I said to her? Like, how dare she? How dare she? This motherfucker is batshit crazy, and that's really pretty much it. This reunion was still as all hell, like the fuck I said, and Andy is getting very lazy at hosting, and it was just ridiculous. I felt like the reunion was trash. And before they even get to their goddamn closing statements, here go Karen and Ashley going back and forth, you know, had a little quick heated argument. But at the end of the day, Karen ain't told no motherfucking lie. The fact that Ashley believes nothing is wrong with what Michael did and is standing by him is scary as hell. Like, especially for her being a sexual assault survivor. What is you doing? They go through their pros and cons of the season, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, Monique is still a fake ass bitch. Candace and her are still not cool, which is good for Candace. Robin is still boo, the fool. Giselle trying to get her coins back from her ex-husband. And Ashley is raising Benjamin Button. The end. That's it. That's all. This season, I rated from a 1 to 10. I give it an 8. Because even though it was stupid arguments that it was going through, it was really petty, it was really childish, it was still very entertaining. There were some episodes I was just like, And a part of me was going to give it a 7, but I'm going to be real. Like, I still was watching it towards the end. But, you know, hell, they dragged it out for what? Fucking 5 months? That's all I have for y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching and for hanging in there with your girl. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe if you fucks with me. And if you care, go ahead and share. And I'll fuck with y'all in the next video. Bye.